The U.S. has announced sanctions on several dozen Israeli settlers involved in attacks against Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. There's been a surge in violence since Israel began its war on October the 7th. In recent days, Israeli settlers raided a restaurant and launched an attack on a Palestinian father of 6. The U.S. State Department is announcing sanctions on several dozen Israeli settlers involved in attacks against Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. Let's get more from our White House correspondent. Kimberly Halkett joins us now live from Washington, D.C. So, Kimberly, according to UN experts, human rights group, all settlements are illegal under international law. Is the U.S. targeting settlers and settler groups in general or specific individuals?
Yeah, this, according to the Secretary of State in his statement that has just come down, would be targeting individuals under the authorities of the United States, those who are not of U.S. citizenship and wish to travel to the United States if they are affected by these visa restrictions, would in fact be prevented from traveling to the United States. Now, this, according to the Secretary of State, is after many warnings. The United States has decided to use its authorities because it is the view of the Blinken administration that the Israeli government is simply not doing enough to prevent the violent acts committed by Israeli settlers in the West Bank against Palestinians. And so in order to prevent that violence, and after repeated warnings, the Biden administration decided to take matters into its own hands and do what it could with the tools that it had. And so the Secretary of State in his statement says these attacks are unacceptable, and as a result is announcing these new visa restriction policies against dozens of individuals who undermine peace, security and stability in the West Bank. And we should point out, Sammy, this also would include, in some cases, immediate family members as well who wish to travel to the United States. We should also point out that there have been limited attacks by Palestinians against some Israelis, and those people would also be affected by these visa restrictions as well. The Secretary of State says he is working with the Palestinian Authority to ensure that there is stability and security in the West Bank.
Kimberly, how is this impacting U.S.-Israel relations, given that some of the members of the Israeli cabinet are settlers who've given their backing to some of the violent settlers?
Yeah, well, in terms of relations, U.S. and Israeli relations, it doesn't appear that the Biden administration is particularly concerned about that right now. It appears that what the Biden administration is more concerned about or is feeling is the pressure that it's under, given the fact that there are such high civilian casualties, particularly in Gaza. We have seen all kinds of demonstrations outside the White House. There has been international outcry. There has been global demonstrations. There has even been pressure within the Biden administration. There have been letters that have been sent, open letters. There have even been resignations. And the President Joe Biden's feeling the heat. We've even seen movements such as the Abandon Biden movement in some swing states organized by prominent Muslim leaders. In other words, for a president who is trying to win re-election in about a year's time, or less than a year now, he's thinking about that. He's got domestic concerns. He's not worried about, settlers on the cabinet or what the Knesset thinks right now and how that might play out. What he's thinking about is how he's going to win re-election and what that might look like. So this is part and parcel of what this policy is responding to that pressure and taking action. And so that is what the U.S. president has done. But it shouldn't come as a big surprise, given the fact that he wrote an op-ed in just recent weeks in response to the spike in attacks on Palestinians, telegraphing this is exactly what he was going to do.
All right, let's thank Kimberly Halkett, but let's continue.